Have you been feeling spiritual pressure building within you with all the geopolitical events going on in the world? And we have earthquakes and volcanoes and cosmic visitors, and you're wondering how to navigate these times of incredible change? Well, I'm, for example, I'm a geomancer who listens to really the voice, the whispers of the earth and reads the messages in the sky as our ancestors once did when the stone and star were their sacred texts. So in this moment of change, really, I invite you to stand with me in the present to hear the profound teachings of the movement of the earth through volcanoes and earthquakes and the comet Atlas crossing our heavens. Now, these aren't random events. I think they're oracles, they're teachers. They're not threats, they're not seek to destroy us. We don't need to be filled with fear, but they are speaking to us of the order of the dance, really, of order and chaos, of destruction and creation. And in many respects, they are guiding us through what I perceive, and I think we all do really, as the collective and individual dark night of the soul. So this is a painful passage. It's like going down a dark birth canal. We are constricted and restrained, and it feels dark, and we can't see yet what wants to emerge. But we will be reborn into the light in harmony and in alignment with the cosmos. So let's explore for a moment this more deeply. Because I believe the earth, the sky, the universe are calling to us to collectively and individually to awaken, to navigate this eternal interplay of order and chaos. And we're being invited to do so with wisdom and courage and patience. For the universe, I think is it's calling us to go through this next stage of growth. So I'm going to drop back because I'm a geomancer. We work with sort of earth energy, and in the Eastern tradition, we often think about it as yin and yang. In the Western tradition, it's more sort of the female and male currents. But in the Taoist tradition, life flows between order and chaos, which is yin and yang, or yang is order and yin is chaos. So they're sort of the masculine and feminine vie, one of creation and one brings order. And each shapes the other in this timeless cycle. So if you think of the yin and yang symbol. So order is the calm of the heart, really rooted in truth, the structure of life aligned with purpose. We don't want a chaotic life. We want to be creative, but we want to have the structure so we can live out our purpose. Chaos is that spark of creation, the birth moment, new life, breaking apart what's already there to create new paths. But it can be destructive. It can be anarchic. So our ancestors, I think, are very in tune with these rhythms of the earth and the night sky. We observe the heavens, we observe the planets, we observe the moon, we observed, comets, and we were very much probably closer to the rhythms of the earth, the vegetational cycle, the wheel of time as we move through the seasons of that moment of birth, growth, blossoming, harvest, decay, go back into the dark night of the soul. That's most evident in the vegetational cycle. And I think with modern life, we're a bit removed from that cycle in many respects. But, we see that every year in the vegetational cycle, but that is, of course, the life cycle of all things. So we kind of trust really that there are these bigger cycles going on of that pattern. And at this moment in our society, I would see that we're going into that death and decay, which is all about our relationship with power as well as we're reborn anew. So we got to trust really that the movement of the earth and these celestial wanderers, as I say, are teachers, not threats, and they're guiding us through these cycles of change. So in this moment, I think and I'm sure you are as well, the earth and the sky are speaking really with an urgency, teaching us to find this still point in ourselves and collectively and individually where order and chaos meet, where destruction births creation, and where pain really yields renewal. So this dance of order and chaos, as I say, mirrors the masculine and feminine principles. Order is the masculine, it's the structure, it's the known, the discipline framework that gives stability. It's like, a city's walls or our mind's clarity or our detailed plan that we create when we want to achieve something. And chaos, that's the feminine. It's the boundless, the unknown, the creative force that disrupts and renews. It's like a river carving new paths through the landscape, or a lucid dream sparking insight. Neither are superior, they are partners in their embrace. And the Earth itself carries these sort of yin yang currents in the electromagnetic energy lines, telluric currents, and the sort of metaphysical grid, the Earth grid that holds the shape and form of the Earth. And these are all, and the water, these are all pulsing really with these sort of yin and yang, masculine and feminine energies. So when volcanoes erupt, or earthquakes shake the ground, these currents shift. And that stirs this dance, this readjustment between order and chaos within the earth and within us. Because, the earth is a holographic representation of the universe, and so are we. So as we navigate this moment of, going down this dark birth canal where we're sort of constricted and we're wrestling with the last, how many thousands of years where we have experienced collectively power over us. And that's very much what we personally often experience. Our childhood experiences of power, often someone exerting power over us. But power is a quality of the soul. Power is what brings stars into being. It's what creates supernovas, which create new life. Power is what pushes us, that raw power is what pushes us down our mother's birth canal out into the world. It's what pushes daisies up through, tarmac. Power is a quality of the soul. It's something that we have, but I think people shy away from using that power. So right now we're being called through these shifts of order and chaos to balance sort of discipline with our creative power, structure with flow, and really to become a whole within ourselves and within society. Because, I think many of you will agree with me, society at the moment is going down a dark path. Because it's in decay. So we have to wrestle with our relationship with power, this destructive relationship, so that we can usher in this new society. It's about coming into balance with the cosmos, the coming into balance, as I say, between this order and chaos that creates all things. So, as volcanoes erupt in our planet, their molten rivers of lava, reshape the land. So this is chaos, really, burning away that which no longer serves us. And yet, from these things like volcanic eruptions, new earth forms, trees and vegetation starts to plant itself, it becomes fertile and ready for new life. So chaos becomes order. So as earthquakes, we've seen a lot of earthquakes recently as all these cosmic pressures are on the earth. They shift the ground beneath us. And that's physical and metaphorical. It's the ground beneath us shifting. Physically, land masses could be changing, but metaphorically, everything we thought we'd built society on, our solid foundations, is being shaken. Our belief and our values in what is right, what is wrong, what is power, what it isn't, they're all being shaken. And so the ground beneath us is sort of metaphysical. It's a metaphorical cracking open of old wounds, hidden truths. And this disruption unsettles us. It unsettles us individually and it unsettles us collectively. We're more likely to see the divisions and cracks in society. We're more likely to see, who is us and who is them. But what this is actually calling us to do is to rebuild our foundations. The disruption unsettles us, but it teaches us that we need to rebuild on our foundations, the values that we hold dear. And that would be individually and collectively. So it's really important that we understand what we value at the moment and how we have the power, this power again, to embody those values in our own lives. So, at the moment we've got comets in our region. So the comet Atlas is moving through our heavens with its, glow. Is there water vapor on it? Is it metal? But also, these are cosmic messengers. So its light is there really. Its presence, in a way, is there to disrupt our complacency. So it has a message. It's inviting us to get clear on who we are. What gifts do we bring to be of service to the world? And to bring that creative power of our gifts, to bring it with an order, a plan, sort of a how are we going to bring that to the world? Because many of us, have marvelous gifts. I've no doubt there are many people out there who could be tremendous musicians, tremendous artists, tremendous spiritual leaders. And they've got that within them, that creative power, but they've got no plan to bring it to the world. Those musicians will never pick up an instrument. Those people who have this natural ability to sing will never discover it because they don't try. So we need to really find out what our values are, and we need a plan to how am I going to discover how I can bring, let's say a musician's value, one of their sole values is beauty. But their natural attribute is as a musician. So their role of bringing beauty to the world is to be the musician that's within their soul. For other people, beauty would be art, and they have the gift of the art. So their soul's unfolding is to bring this gift to the world. So right now, I think the message is to get clear on what values we bring and what gifts we bring in service to the world. And what is my power, my creative power to bring those things into being? And how am I going to do that in a structured way that brings order to the world, and brings light to the world and brings form to the world rather than absolute chaos? So all these messengers, these shifts in the earth energy grid, the volcanoes, the cosmic visitors that disrupt us in our complacency, they're not threats, but they're teachers, urging us really to grow, to face the shadows both within and among us. And it's at a really, these arrivals we can see at a really critical point, this crux moment of this societal change that we can see very evidently in geopolitics. We can see the world and societies tearing themselves apart over how we want the world to be. So we're seeing this stirring in the earth grid, the electromagnetic ley lines, telluric currents, if you like, probably more correctly, they're widening, they're shifting. There are huge pulses of energy going down them, and these energy lines, the electromagnetic currents, they're not just present in the earth; they help give the earth its form. They hold it, sort of the physical presence of it, so that it's not just a metaphysical world. We are a physical world. So this metaphysical web, gives form to reality. It's what brings it all into being. So earthquakes and volcanoes, they send ripples through these telluric currents, the planet's energy pathways. So they alter magnetic fields in the earth. And, I would even argue, because someone could see these energies, that they even influence these giant plasma cores that reach into the magnetosphere. I've seen shifts in those recently. How that affects us, I'm not entirely clear, but I think we feel this sort of pressure, this shift, as I say, as the world is changing. Land masses might changing. We seem to be physically changing. There are changes in people's aura. There are changes in the patterns in their chakras. There's lots of changes occurring that, although they are energy or metaphysical, they are bound to affect our physical form. It's the two, are a feedback loop. We can't have one without the other. So, like the plasma coils of the earth, they kind of link the earth to the solar system in a way. They carry currents of energy that resonate from the earth, but also resonate with the universe's pulse. So when the earth trembles or erupts, it amplifies these dynamics, sending signals into the magnetosphere. And it really reminds us that, as I say, that the Earth is a hologram of the universe, a living system where every part reflects the whole. And, we too are holograms of the universe. Our bodies and our souls mirror these vast patterns and forms that make up our physical reality. So the chaos of an earthquake, or the order of, new land formed by light, or the presence of a comet, they're all reflections of the universe's dance, teaching us to see ourselves as part of this holographic universe, to embrace our creative power, to embrace the order and form we can bring to the world through our visions, our actions, and our dreams, that we are a part of this holographic dance. There is a little space in the rich tapestry of the universe that has your name on it. And if you don't fill that space that belongs to you with your power, with your creativity, if you don't fill that little void, then the tapestry is out of balance. So what these messengers are actually inviting us to do, I think, is to fully claim our space in this rich tapestry, because otherwise the rest of the pattern, it doesn't function the same. When we don't own our gifts and our talents, when we don't step up into the world to be who our soul came here to be, other people don't get those gifts and talents that we came to bring to the world. So if we don't embody our power and say, this is who I am, this is what I can offer the world, these are my gifts, these are my talents that I bring in service to help others. If we don't do that, there's a gap. And other people can be out there looking for exactly the thing that we were meant to give. And yet we're letting ourselves down, and we're letting other people down as well. So if you imagine, like I said, the whole universe is this rich, kaleidoscopic, fractal pattern. One of those itty bitty tiny shapes is you. This is the universe's way of saying you're not insignificant. You came, you're a soul. You came to contribute something. Your life is meaningful. And there are these clues that we incarnated at this time. We're here now at this time of huge change. That was a decision our soul made, because somehow we believed, through whatever our gifts and talents were, that we could lubricate the birth canal for the passage, so that we can be born anew, society can be born anew. If we hold back and don't step up and renegotiate our relationship with chaos and power and order and structure, we don't embody all that we are, then we are, we can't facilitate this process. That's what we came here to do. So we don't want to let, fear of power hold us back. We don't want to let past bad experiences of power hold us back. We have to negotiate our inner relationship with power, and any ambivalence or any fear we have it, for society to have a different relationship with power. You can't have one without the other. You can't say, oh, I'm not going to deal with all my inner woes. I'll just let somebody else sort society out, because somebody else could be a complete arsehole who's going to make a complete screw up of it. So, this is why we need to embody our power. This is why we need to be discerning about the people as we select as leaders. This is why we need to be actively engaged in this process, because even though we're going to go through a whole societal dynamic and shift and change around a relationship with power, we will inevitably create new leaders. But society can't govern without somebody at the top sort of structuring things in some form. That's just how humanity is involved. Humanity has a hierarchy. But what we do want is the people who take up those roles. And at the moment, there'll be people out there who are wandering around thinking, well, that's not going to be me. Yet there's a big arrow on top of your head saying, actually, it is going to be you. You're just not aware of it yet. So we want to ensure that the people who rise to those leadership roles, that is the gift that they came to offer the world. That is the service that they wanted to be of. Maybe they're just not aware of it yet. So we have to fully embrace our soul values, our gifts, our talents that we bring in service, because, as I said, we all have that little piece of a tapestry of the universe that belongs to us, that we need to fill. Some of us will just be Joe Blogs, carrying on, doing our things. Some people will rise to be new leaders. but we want to create an environment where they're empowered to do that, where they're supported to do that, and where, this tapestry is working in harmony. We are in harmony with each other, with ourselves, and with the cosmos. So these oracles of earthquakes, volcanoes, and comets, they're really there to teach us to navigate order and chaos in the present. They mirror our inner world. So they show us how to release fear and falsehood. Let our inner fire create rather than destroy. They ask us to examine our foundations. Are we built on truth or illusions of control? That we're being called to look up, to see ourselves as part of the cosmos, where this order and chaos dance together. It's as if the universe is really saying, pay attention. As I say, I've been weaving this tapestry far longer than you. I understand the patterns. I understand the loom. I understand the threads. You need to fill your space. So for those of us who, see the earth as an oracle, which is in essence what geomancy is, it's working with these forces, but recognizing that the earth is an oracle to teach us so much about ourselves and the cosmos and the universe. We see the earth and the sky as mirrors of our soul. So the principle as above, so below teaches us that the planet, the planets resonate. I mean, our chakras resonate with different planets, and this energy centers within us. So, our root chakra grounds us to the earth, but it aligns with Saturn. So it asks, are we rooted in truth? The sacral chakra is the source of our creativity and wounds. It connects with Jupiter, the force of healing. So it urges us to heal our old traumas. The solar plexus chakra is really about our sense of self, and that resonates with Mars, which is really not about being aggressive and war, but it's about courage. It's about being firm of purpose. So it demands we examine our actions. The heart chakra, obviously our link with love, aligns with the planet Venus, the essence of connection, and it teaches us to open in harmony. And the heart chakra, of course, is I would argue the seat of our soul. We have 3 lower chakras and 3 higher chakras. When we're existing in our heart chakra, we are in balance. We have this balance of order and chaos, creativity, and destruction. So the throat chakra above us, that's tied to our voice. That ties to Mercury, the messenger. So it asks, are we speaking our truth? Are we saying what we came to say? The third eye is our intuitive vision, and that links to the sun and the moon, and it calls to us to see clearly. And I would argue the sun and the moon is about seeing clearly our light and our dark, our order and our chaos. And then we have the crown chakra, which is our tie to the divine, and that resonates with Uranus, the awakener. And then the 8th chakra, the higher chakra, is our link to all life, whole of the cosmos, and it aligns with Neptune, which is the dissolver. So it's that we resonate at frequencies within our chakras that are in alignment with our solar system. So we can see, and there is an energy as someone who sees chakras, you can see, when we talk about, a planet is in your house of a particular star sign, that energy in the chakra is activated. So that's how, you can see stark differences in people at different astronomical events, because we're all uniquely different and we're all uniquely wired to our solar system in a very personal relationship. And, comets coming through our solar system and coming near these planets, they stir these energies. They stir it within our chakras. And because we're all born in different houses, that will make very unique stirrings in us. So it invites us to delve in and feel that unique relationship we have with power, with ourselves, with our cosmos, to really dig into healing old wounds, to working out where we're stuck and how we can move forward. Because sometimes people say, oh, I'm blocked and I'm stuck. But often they're not actually blocked and stuck. They just don't know what to do, how to move forward. So it's not a blockage or a wound as such. It can be just a lack of knowledge or a lack of skill set. So that's basically what it is. It's knowing how to do, or knowing what to do rather, and how to do it. And that's the order part. We can, as I say, we can be very creative beings. We have all these ideas. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. We got these ideas. That's the creation. The order is the what and the how. So I want to be a writer. I want to be an artist. That's I have these unique gifts. Right, that's great. Now create your art, write your book. But how do you get your art into a gallery? How do you sell it? How do you create a book plan? How do you approach a publisher? That's the order part. And so often we're not blocked, but we find we're existing in chaos or existing in order, like order. We might have everything mapped out. I'm going to do this. We leave no room for spontaneity or creation. Where everything, our day is mapped out to the minute, and I only do this and I do the same every single bloody day. We have to balance these two flows within us, and that's what these messengers are inviting us to do now, because we can see that in the earth. We have earthquakes, we have volcanoes, we have solar storms coming from the sun. It's all about how we respond to order and chaos. So, we're being asked to align our actions with courage. We have to look, are we acting from fear or from, courage? Are we acting from truth or are we acting from falsehoods? So we're being called, to open our heart to love for ourselves, for each other, for the universe, and to heal divisions. So it's these cosmic events really are speaking to us. They're speaking to our embodiment really, and asking us how we live as souls in human form. Because our soul came with a mission. We are incarnated here as this person in this time, in this location for a purpose. So how are we embodying that? And then, how can we be guided to heal wounds that are preventing us from doing that and trust in new possibilities? So this is the dialogue really between the cosmos and our souls, teaching us to balance chaos and order, um, in energy centers in our body, in our work, in our relationships, in our immediate society, in our towns, in our wider society, in our geopolitics, in all things. We're being encouraged to integrate these lessons both personally, individually, and collectively. So this is, let's say, we are in the dark night of the soul on the scale of human society as we have at the moment for the last however many thousands of years. So it is a time of purging and it's a time of transformation. So the Earth's upheavals, they mirror the chaos within, unhealed wounds, patterns of greed and division, and the chaos that we may be experiencing. As I say, geopolitically, we may feel that in our work relationships, jobs, cost of living, everything. Chaos is the crucible of creation. So in this moment, in the weeks, months, even years ahead, we must not cling to rigid order, like I need to know everything because otherwise I feel really insecure and fearful. Neither must we drown in chaos. Oh God, there's no hope. I can't cope. I'm so depressed. We have to find that still point, that the way of the Tao, where masculine energies and feminine energies, order and chaos merge. Our whole life's path, if you think of the yin-yang symbol, our whole life's path is merging that, is to walk that middle path between order and chaos. That's what we're here for. That's what we came to do. We came to embody our gifts, but do so that gives shape and form to the world. So the shifts that we're seeing in the Earth and the cosmos, they reflect this balance, shifting in the electromagnetic fields of the Earth, and the Earth's grids, that in effect they shape our reality. As these currents move in the Earth, they awaken our own energies, because we as beings are intrinsically attuned more to certain Earth energy fields than others. So as dowsers, we don't all douse the same energy line exactly the same, because our relationship and our sensitivity to it is very unique because of our own wiring. So we'll never douse, our own electrical wiring, if you like. We'll never douse something exactly the same as something else because our body is unique. Our relationship to that energy is unique. So, but those currents, this order and chaos, these shifts in these electromagnetic and sound lines in the earth and other forms, lots of other energy forms, are urging us now to awaken to this order and chaos within us. They're urging us to integrate discipline and creativity, structure and flow, because through that we will navigate this path, this passage, really, this birth passage to wholeness. So I want you to see these events not as threats, not as warnings of doom or wrath. This is sort of like the old mindset that has a difficult relationship with power. It's a mindset that craves control over mystery, over not knowing. We've got to trust in the earth's power and the sky's wisdom as teachers. So, when fear rises, feel it. If you catch the news and you see something in politics that you think, oh my God, honor that feeling, feel it, but let it pass like a tremor, like an earthquake. It rocks your world for a minute, rocks your foundations, and then it settles down again into something new. So return to that inner stillness all the time, where the sort of earth's heartbeat and the cosmic wisdom meet, if you like, because they meet. That meets in our heart center, that meets in our heart chakra. So when our biofield, our human biofield, our aura, and our chakras, they interact with Earth's energy. So when we're at a sacred site, our biofield has many membranes in it, and it kind of unfolds like a flower, and it draws in energy from the earth, and that energy also feeds into our chakra system, because the energy of the earth is not just of the earth, it contains energy of the cosmos, of the solar system, because all the planets talk to each other. So our heart center is at that very point where the earth's heartbeat and the cosmos's wisdom meet. And, that's where you'll find that you are held and guided by, the universe and your higher self, because your higher self is already out there in the metaphysical tapestry of the universe. You just must feel your part of the reality, the physical reality part of the tapestry. So, and this is what we're being, teased almost by the universe to our awakening. So we could see it as a really challenging, quite depressing time. And I'm, quite an avid person who's a big fan of politics because of my social science background. I am interested in politics from a sort of top-down position, how we organise societies around ideologies, how we structure our reality. So I'm interested in that point of view. But if I look at it too much, I find it really depressing at the moment. So I don't. I tune in occasionally, and then I take very much time out for my family, my gardening, my work as a geomancer, my clients one-to-one, my group coaching, because I wouldn't want to be dragged into that. So the universe at the moment is pushing us to awaken, and so that growth, that change is by necessity challenging, because all growth is challenging. All growth meets resistance. When a baby's being born, it meets the resistance of the birth canal. When a seed wants to sprout, it meets the resistance of the shell husk, then the soil. All growth creates, it counterbalances resistance. So that fear is that resistance. So we don't want to let fear hold us back. Because if we allow fear to hold us back, we cannot tap into our inner source of power. That power to grow, that power to expand, that power to be born anew. So that all these things, the comets that are entering our solar system, earthquakes, volcanoes, they're all daring us to grow, just as nature does. She throws seeds in wild abandon in the autumn to give her the best chance of that plant surviving in the spring, through the winter, to grow again in the spring. She risks everything every year, nature. Every little bird that cracks out of an egg is a risk. Every flower that blooms, it takes a risk. And we, likewise, as human beings, have to get comfortable with our power. We have to take risks. That's the chaos. That's that balance between order and chaos. So I see, as a geomancer, I see all these things occurring really as oracles, as a call to align with this cosmic dance of order and chaos. Don't, you know, as I say, the fires of the earth teach us to burn away what's false. But our fires also, the burning fire also creates new, like the burning of the moors. We burn all the heather away, but then this new life emerges. And, the rocking of the foundations of the earth in earthquakes show us how to rebuild, that we can, our foundations occasionally need to shift so that we can stand on different ground. And visitors from the heavens, they remind us that we're part of the cosmos, um, where, this huge order of this huge dance of order and chaos that is much bigger than we are, that has been gone on far longer than my lifespan, that has an intelligence that far outweighs my own, but that I am a holographic part of, that I'm part of its consciousness, I'm part of its learning, I'm part of its growth. My little contribution is my soul, is my life experience, contributes to the data bank, if you like, that is the universal mind. So, we are holograms of that universe. Our chakras are holograms of the planets of the solar system. And our soul reflects the wonder that is the universe. So, these teachers of the earth and messages in the sky, they're not separate from us because they are us, because we're all part of this tapestry of universal consciousness. So in this moment when you feel challenged, I would, stand on the earth in your bare feet, feel its pulse. Look towards the sky in the day, look at the sun, look at the moon, look at the night sky and ask, what does chaos seek to release? What do I need to release? What order am I called to create? What truths must I face? And they can be hard things to face. But, reflect on those. What is chaos seeking to release? What are you being called to either let go of or create? And how are you going to bring that creation to some fruitful form? What order or path are you going to follow? And what truths have you got to face about yourself, your situation in life to make that happen? So I'd reflect on those questions. Are you open to love? Are you ready to heal all wounds? Are you ready to act in integrity and connect with love? So these are the work of transformation. This is about aligning your masculine and feminine energies, your order and your chaos, to forge a new world, to forge a new reality. So this is a time of, say, transmutation. We're in this boiling cauldron at the moment where new life is waiting for emerge, and we need to burn away what's false so that we can reveal our true selves. This is what it's all about. We are beings of light and balance, and these events that what the earth is undergoing at the moment, both of the earth and geopolitical and everything, they're guiding us into right relationship with ourselves, with each other, with the earth, and with the universe. So we've got to put our trust in what's happening to know that, this is all part of the great pattern. We're here to be, individually and societally, collectively, it's all about rebirth and renewal. So the cosmos really is holding us, and it's whispering that this chaotic time that we're undergoing is a prelude to rebirthing. It's a prelude to creation, and that order really is the song of the heart aligned with truth. If I act in truth, then there will be order. So I just hope that gives you something to think about during this. These are challenging times. We're feeling that, more and more on a daily basis with, as I say, we're feeling this crisis very much in geopolitics. We're seeing this in our societies, we're seeing this in our towns, and we're feeling this in ourselves, I think, many of us. So we have to sit within our heart chakra. We have to find that balance point within ourselves to know that it's all working out as it's meant to. The universe is going through one of these phases of change and rebirth, and I chose to be here at this time because I have gifts and talents or something that I came to offer the world in service at this time of transformation as we're all collectively going down this birth canal, this dark night of the soul before we are reborn. So I would just, hope that we would navigate this path with clarity and wisdom and patience and love and fortitude and resilience. And that we can do so collectively, and that really we can tap into the creative forces that bring all things into being, which are order and chaos. We don't want to tip too much into chaos. We don't want to tip too far into order, because that would constrict us, and chaos can be anarchy, or we can have absolute control on the other hand. So it is about us, as I say, individually and collectively walking that path. So I hope you've enjoyed this segment, slightly longer than normal, but blessings to you all, and I will see you again next time.